You ever have that day? You know, that day, that very moment, you got better. Your better got better. What if that day was every day?
Putting a bow on the home schedule here in Bradenton before they head to Hoover to close out the 2019 season. But first, they welcome the Miami Norland Vikings. Hello, everyone, and welcome into IMG Academy Stadium. Alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Neverett, I am Ryan Sudol. And Matt, for only the second time in IMG Academy history, coming off of a loss, and last year losing to the eventual #1 team in the country, now current #1 team in the country, Mater Dei, came back and beat Miami Northwestern 34-7, and now you have a very tired Miami Norland Viking team playing less than 48 hours ago, winning 41-0 against South Miami. But it should be an interesting one to see how this particular team of Ascenders bounces back.
Yeah, definitely a unique week for both sides. You mentioned Miami Norland playing their second game over the last 3 days, so we'll see right off the bat how the tiredness affects them. And for IMG, it's statement time. It's the worst loss under head coach Kevin Wright, the 35-7 drubbing for all intents and purposes last week on the road at St. Francis. They return home for their final home contest of the 2019 season, going against the probable tired opponent in the Miami Norland Vikings. I would expect to see a quick start and a physical one for the Ascenders this afternoon.
A lot of football fans like to live by the transitive property, and the only common opponent for both of these teams was, in fact, St. Francis Academy. And for IMG losing 35-7 last week, for Miami Norland back on September 20th getting blown out 49-0. So again, all things considered, IMG has never lost to a school in the state of Florida, only California, and now Baltimore, Maryland. So especially under Kevin Wright, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that loss last week.
Hey, and they were at least able to put up some points against St. Francis, which Miami Norland was not able to do early on in the season. I would expect to see a lot of the same from the prior weeks for the Ascenders today. A lot of physical play, a lot of push from both the offensive and the defensive lines. I think the big uglies on either side of the ball are going to have a phenomenal afternoon here in their final home game.
It is the last home broadcast here for the IMG Academy National Ascenders. We will have the Ascenders and Vikings for you, and kickoff momentarily. You're watching Ascender football on IMG Academy TV.
When it starts to matter, when we turn the scoreboard on, there's no margin for error. This is it. Keep looking. Come on, let's go.
We're in our training camp. Let's go.
Best secondary in the nation.
There ain't no one in the nation, baby.
IMG on 3, brother, on 6. 1, 2, 3. IMG. 4, 5, 6.
Academy Stadium, Bradenton, Florida, awaiting national team kickoff. IMG wearing their black jerseys, blue trim, white numerals, and for Miami Norland, their famous gray and maroon, the white jerseys, maroon numerals, and maroon helmets. Back to return is Benson Prosper and Jordan Taylor. IMG won the opening coin toss, and that one will sail. There is a very strong wind going from south to north here in Bradenton, and that will definitely have some effect on the passing game today.
Yeah, a lot of rain earlier. The field is going to be wet but playable. Yesterday during the varsity contest, we saw a lot of the same. Some pretty wet and sloppy conditions, but as of right now, some blue skies, some white puffy clouds overhead. Maybe some rain expected in the distance, but in the early part of the game, not going to be much of a factor.
And we will see Tyree Sherwood, 6-foot senior, also runs track for Miami Norland. Again, just playing on Thursday night, winning 41-0 over South Miami. And they'll have a big task ahead of them with one of the biggest defensive lines in the country. Jordan Butler and Warren Brinson, the anchors in the middle. Also, Josh Griffiths and JT Ellis, your starting D linemen, and already some chaos as Elias Ricks, who transferred from Mater Dei, and also one of the top defensive backs in the country, will step off. Coming on for him will be Aisa Trotman for the first play of the game, so you have to think Tyree Sherwood's going to have Amari Stewart on that near side in his view.
Looked like some kind of a uniform infraction right off the bat.
And they fake the jet sweep, and Sherwood, the track star, is going to take it for himself and be brought down just shy of the first down marker, about the 29-yard line. But again, you see, using that speed and getting right around Jordan Butler, not able to get around Aisa Trotman. Yeah,
Trotman taking advantage of his, I guess, early substitution. Substituted in and then subsequently out after that play, but he made the most out of it. And we're going to see a lot of that today from Miami Norland. Tyree Sherwood, especially quick around the outside. They're going to need to contain. It's something that has been a specialty of this defensive front early on, but it's going to be something that is going to be at the forefront all afternoon.
Another man in motion. They fake the jet sweep, and the hand is to Zabari Mobley. He runs out to his left, gets the first down, and trying to get into IMG territory, but brought down just shy of the 45, up to about the 43. And a first down for the Vikings.
A couple of big runs on the first two plays from scrimmage for the roadside. For the Ascenders, you're going to need some kind of a stop here. Some run of little to no gain, really for the mental factor. You cannot give up a couple of big runs to get things going and expect to have any kind of continued success. One thing as of note is Legend Cavazzo still on the sideline, doesn't even have the helmet in hand, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on when and if he gets in the contest today.
Legend Cavazos, the Ohio State commit, and again, one of the better players in this IMG secondary. Again, they're going to go back to Mobley, again running in between the tackles, as we talked about last night with the varsity game. Something that is not easy, and that was really what kind of hampered them against St. Francis last week. Blake Corum, the Michigan commit, just unable to be stopped up the middle. But again, right now, if they can hold any running backs or Tyree Sherwood to just under 3 or 4 yards a carry, should be advantageous for the Ascenders. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. Shotgun, 2 receivers to each side. Now Sherwood's going to go to the air and falling to his knees, but catching it. And it's no. The back judge will signal incomplete. And our angle, it looked like it was caught, but Amari Stewart not able to hold on.
And it's a tough angle there for the referee. The side judge did the right thing there by pointing to the back judge, asking him what he saw, and it was the back judge, like you mentioned, Ryan, that came in from almost 40 yards downfield, but that is his call. He's got the angle, similar to umpires in baseball. If you don't have the angle, you call out your other referee and hope that they had a better view, and that was the case there, behooving the IMG Ascenders early on.
Now, big play for Miami Norland, but referees stopping the clock. Already more whistles than we would want to hear, but we've had some 3-hour games whenever Miami opponents come up here.
About the same as the drive from Miami to Bradenton.
This is an official's timeout.
And one of the benefits, sometimes we can hear the officials yelling at each other, but Yeah, not sure what the delay was there. Possibly another uniform infraction.
There's sticklers early on here today.
And it is Mobley split out to the right, and also Keshawn Joseph in the backfield with Sherwood. And Mobley gets the jet sweep, running to the left side and sniffed out quickly and tackled right at about the 46-yard line. And a huge stop for the Ascenders.
That was Josh Griffiths getting around the outside, just grabbing a hold of the jersey of Mobley and allowing the rest of his defending teammates to come in and get the gang tackle on the far sideline. A great job by Griffiths of holding strong and just taking what you can get there. And the big stop mentally there for the Ascenders as a 4th down upcoming.
And Grant Miller also in to finish off that tackle, and we'll see the Norland punting unit for the first time. Believe that is DeKel Crowdis and also Corey Palmer. As the punt goes off, and tracking Palmer and almost bouncing off an Ascender, and it looked like it may have clipped the calf, but the Ascender is able to recover at their own 30-yard line.
A risky proposition there. Let's check it out on the replay. Like you mentioned, Ryan, it was definitely close. I think that's a heads-up play. You know, at first thought, you say, Zay Peterson, why are you falling on top of that ball? You let it go, let it be touched up. But I think that's the right call. You take any doubt out of the equation, and now this IMG offense is going to get a chance on the field, averaging over 230 yards a game on the ground. It all starts with the offensive line. A huge group. They get a big-time push right from the start.
And it is the sophomore Florida State commit, Chad Masco, starting out at quarterback. Ari Allen in motion. The hand is to Katron Allen. Keeps his feet, gets a couple, and then finally brought down. And Chad Masco started at Morgan State University against St. Francis last week before DJ Boney came in and got the majority of the play, but we will definitely see some split time between Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll as well.
Yeah, two-headed attack. Lavoisier Carroll averaging 11 yards per touch. Katron Allen over 7.
And now Ari Allen on the jet sweep. Cuts up at the 35 and is pushed out of bounds, and they're going to say that the initial progress stop was inbound, so the clock will continue to run and bring up a 3rd and short for the Ascenders.
And Ari Allen, a threat in the passing game, but it's one area where they've started to kind of work him in throughout the course of this season is in the run game. Those jet sweeps kind of getting him the ball in his hands in open space. Allen just shy of the 1st down there. Big time 3rd down upcoming.
Masco trying to get the hard count there. He has 3 targets to his right. Ari Allen, Corey Palmer, and then the near side, Michael Redding. I believe that's also Zach Cheslow, the tight end, in the slot. And Cheslow in motion. The snap, the hand to Katron Allen. He shakes one, gets up past the 40, good enough for the 1st down, and then some to the 43.
You've got the thunder and the lightning with Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll. And Katron, the definite thunder of the two. He is a big boy, runs downhill, keeps the legs moving, does so there to gain the 1st down. And expect to see a lot of these long, sustained drives for the Ascenders, taking a lot of time off the clock early.
Same offensive look. Michael Redding on the near side, the University of Miami commit. Now Masco takes the snap. Allen able to find some space, cuts up at the 45 and plows one and just falls into Viking territory right to the 49-yard line.
And a great block by the tight end Cheslow, able to spring Katron Allen open and laying the hammer down. That was Jordan Taylor who got trucked there, was just able to grab enough to bring down Katron Allen, but that is his running style. He doesn't run around many guys. He is as fast as they come, but he will run right through you.
So 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard gain. Now Masco with the pitch to Katron Allen, trying to run to the outside. He gets some space, and good for another Ascender 1st down.
And this is what we're going to see all day. Just a handful of different offensive looks. When you've got the size and the speed offensively that the Ascenders do on this national team, you don't need to get too creative in the play call. You have your 3 to 4 running attack plays that you run often, and you go right back to the well as many times as you can as Allen checks out Lavoisier Carroll, the lightning of the Lightning and the Thunder, onto the field of play.
And another uniform infraction, so Ari Allen will come off. This is the most we've ever seen. Michael Silvero will sub in to the slot. And very confusing from the FHSAA officiating crew. This is the first time we've ever had this many uniform infractions this early.
Even really in a whole game.
And now the hand is to Carroll, looking up the middle, breaking through tackles and falling down to about the 31-yard line. Should be good for another first down.
And we've been talking about how Katron Allen is the more powerful of the two running backs in this offensive attack, but don't get it twisted. Lavassier Carroll, another strong runner. This is about as even as it gets as far as playing time and skill set between Lavassier Carroll and Katron Allen, the two-headed monster on the running game.
And we will have a water break. We will take it with them with 6 minutes, 2 seconds remaining in the first quarter. IMG and Miami Norland scoreless. This is Ascender Football on IMG TV. Timeout. Again, still scoreless, but IMG on the move after forcing the punt from Miami Norland on their first drive. And it is still Masco and Lavassier Carroll on his left hip, two receivers each side. Masco, the pitch to Carroll. He's got space, cuts up at the 30, breaks a tackle at the 25, 20, 10, 5, and a flag in the neighborhood of holding. That sprung him for those last 15 yards as we take a look again. First contact there right about the 25, and then didn't see exactly who the hold was on, but looked like a fairly strong run from Lavassier Carroll.
I think they might nab Michael Redding, the wide receiver there, as he kind of went to the turf, pulling a jersey on his way down, and that'll negate what was an excellent run for Lavassier Carroll, working his way to the outside and then cutting it back in, and yeah, all that yardage getting reversed.
But as it being a spot foul, it occurred at about the 22, so this should only move the Ascenders back about 2 yards.
The fortunate thing for IMG is it's not like you're not going to get more of those runs. They are able to really pick up a ton of yards on the ground, and they do it in big chunks at once.
So they only lose about one. First and 11 from the Miami Norland 32. Masco now going to the air. Tries to outrun one, throws across his body. Ari Allen loses his footing a little bit. Great coverage, looked like that was Diori Conley. And incomplete.
That was Carlian Gray Johnson, the senior captain linebacker, chasing down Masco, and that's the reason why that throw was a bit errant. Just pushed it a bit too far as he felt the footsteps coming in from behind him. But I like the look. Masco's not your typical sophomore quarterback. He is big, he is strong, he is physical. He's shown off a strong arm early on, though.
Yeah. Almost drawing the Vikings offside, and Cheslow in for possibly some blocking help at that tight end position.
Something he does exceptionally well.
And still Lavassier Carroll on the left hip. And the hand is to Lavassier Carroll, dragging two Viking defenders back across the original line of scrimmage and inside the 30-yard line down to about the 27 or 28.
And Ryan, we've been talking about these supposed uniform infractions. After that play, a great pancake block by Tyler Booker to finish it. The white hat, the head referee signaled, hey, that back play can't be out. You got to pull that thing down.
Now Masco takes the snap, play action, rolling to his right, looking. Has a man, Ari Allen with the catch, almost able to keep his feet while sitting on top of Diori Conley. That would have been one for SportsCenter had he been able to get back up.
And that's the same look as that last rollout pass for Masco, and yeah, that would have been as acrobatic a play as you could ever find, but Ari Allen able to make that grab while headed to the turf, and now Lavassier Carroll out, Katron Allen in. Usually this will give you an inclination as to what's coming, although it looks like Katron's going to be split out wide. A 5-wide formation here for IMG.
And Masco A little bit of an awkward delivery, and I think they're going to blow him for a false start.
We have a flag on the play.
And it looked like everybody had the right snap count just at the wrong time.
And that's really a shame because Allen had the ball with nobody around him, and that was an extension of the running game on that running back / wide receiver screen with Allen split out to the right. So talked about it last night during the varsity game, but this national team has really hindered themselves offensively with a lot of penalties.
And again, now we also have Lavoisier Carroll and Katron Allen in. And 3 receivers split out. Looks like there's still some confusion getting the call from the sideline. Allen in motion. And the hand is to Carroll right up the middle, fighting forward and trying to get those penalty yards back. He'll get just a couple. That'll bring up 2nd and 12.
And then a formation like that with your 2 stud running backs on the field at once, not every play is going to be a home run. You have to have some of those 2-3 yard runs up the middle.
And now very quick, and that is Lavoisier Carroll on the near sideline. Little quick out route at the sideline and able to get a few.
Yeah, it looked like that was the exact same play that they tried to Katron on that far side before that false start penalty negated even the pass attempt. And Lavoisier Carroll, the benefactor there, as he made the grab, got a couple of yards as he jogs off the field. Big time 3rd down upcoming.
3rd and 5 from the Miami Norland 12-yard line. Masco with Katron Allen on his left hip. Ari Allen in motion. Little pitch up. Allen trying to get out wide. Nowhere to go, cuts back, and now he's going to try and make the whole side of the field. Still no flags. He's able to shake 1 tackle, cuts up at the 20, up to the 10, and then the 5, fighting for the end zone, and just short, but good enough for the 1st down.
Wow, Barry Sanders-esque going back and forth. That'll go down as a pass attempt as well, that little flip up from Masco. You see a ton of Norland defenders all on that one side of the field. Allen turned around, and even Masco getting in on the action. I don't know if you want to call that a block, kind of throwing the back there. I think that's straight out of the Peyton Manning blocking playbook for a quarterback, but extremely excellent individual effort for Ari Allen there.
That was a 50-yard run with about a net of 11 yards, but well worth it for the 1st down and the fresh set as Masco awaiting the snap. 4 yards to go. The hand is to Katron Allen. Gets behind his offensive line. Touchdown Ascenders. Katron Allen just juking behind, following Cheslow right up the middle, and you see Greg Crippen did his job, and Katron Allen goes into the end zone untouched.
Hey, the drive itself was not pretty, but they made it work. A couple of penalties that otherwise could have really taken them out of scoring range at all, but some individual efforts turning nothing into something on that drive that took up the majority of the 1st quarter. And we said it in the pregame, that's what you're going to see from IMG offensively, just trusting not only their stud running back, but the offensive line to open up those holes like they did on that touchdown run, the 12th of the year on the ground for Allen.
And Erickson Buck snap back. The hold is down. The kick is up. And his streak continues. Erickson Buck, after missing the first 3 extra points of the season against Venice, puts the exclamation point on that drive, and IMG's up 7-0 with 2:49 to go.
That drive itself was the Allen and Carroll show. And they just went back and forth. Ari Allen getting in the mix as well, but really doing a ton of the legwork for the running backs. And that's what we're going to see all day. Masco completing some short passes, rolling out when he needs to, but again, over 230 yards a game on the ground, so expect to see a lot more of that rushing attack.
Erickson Buck now teeing it up, and we will see
Prosper and Taylor are deep for Miami Norland.
how Benson Prosper and Jordan Taylor do on this 2nd attempt, although Erickson Buck has been pretty good at putting the ball into the end zone for touchbacks as well to start opponents with that 80-yard field. And Buck with the boot, and that will sail into the end zone for the touchback.
Like clockwork.
2 for 2. And now we will see the Ascender defense come back on and again try to restrict Miami Norland. They have yet to possess the ball in IMG territory.
Well, if you remember, Ryan, that first drive for Miami Norland, it's felt like about 3 hours ago, but the first 2 running plays were big-time chunk gains, and IMG was able to really slam the door, turn it around, contain around the edge, and get some pressure in the backfield. So they've got that taste in their mouth as a new quarterback's into the game for the Vikings.
And it is Jaden Williams, again, trying a little bit of misdirection, and that one is eaten up in the backfield, and that is J.T. Ellis. Just laying the wood in the backfield.
And whatever issues plagued them on the first couple of defensive snaps early on, they've gotten it squared away. It's assignment football at this point, especially with the multiple weapons in the backfield for Miami Norland. If you stay in your lane, if you do your job and stay on your man, there is no reason why IMG cannot completely stifle this Miami Norland rushing attack.
And now we will see again Jaden Williams, 3 receivers to the right. They'll look to the air, trying to get it quickly, and it is caught. And good for a gain to get the yards that they lost on that first one, maybe just a little bit shy of the 20 as the clock ticks under 2 minutes.
And Maka Jordan, the nearby St. Pete product, you could see his eyes light up as that pass went through the air. That's the first passing attempt for Jaden Williams, just the second of the game for Miami Norland. They're going to have to be crisp on those passes. They're not going to have many an opportunity over the top, especially with O.J. Burrows already setting the school record for interceptions. I think it was through 4 games or something like that. I mean, there is just no fly zone over the top, so they're going to have to go sideline to sideline with this passing attack. Only issue is that IMG's cornerbacks are supremely athletic.
And they will take a timeout. The Vikings will. We will take it with them. 1:24 remaining in the first quarter. Ascenders lead the Vikings 7-0. This is Ascender Football on IMG Academy TV. Of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow along at IMG Academy. Use the hashtag Everything Is Earned. And now Williams takes the snap, going to the air, and dangerous throw, but it is caught. And finally brought down. Going to be close to the first down marker, but gut check time for the Vikings early on, as this will be a 4th and short. And apologize, don't have number 12 on the roster. That was provided to us from Miami Norland. And now Elias Ricks is going to, again, take some charge and call the timeout, as they were not anticipating Miami Norland to go for it.
I think the Ascenders had about 15 players on the field at once there.
So they will take a timeout. We will keep it here, again, with 53 seconds to go.
And that's a smart call. That is a crafty veteran move there to call that timeout. You don't want to give them a free first down there. And I think Miami had some confusion, or Miami Norland, I should say, had some confusion as to whether or not they were going to punt or go for it. The offense started to matriculate their way out towards the sideline, and then all of a sudden sent back on as they sent Tarai Sherwood back out onto the field. And if they keep the same play call, look for him to keep the ball around the edge, because that was where they had the limited success on their first drive. And now the punt team out on the field, so that timeout taking away the surprise advantage for the Vikings.
And back is Corey Palmer by himself.
Donald is back to punt for Miami Norland.
Waiting the punt. This is Tyrese McDonald. And pressure coming, almost blocked. Corey Palmer tracking it through the air. It takes a bounce and will go out of bounds, and the Ascenders will start back at their 45-yard line.
That was Zay Peterson getting in and very nearly getting a fingertip on that punt. Let's see on the replay just how close he was. As that one very nearly knocked down, and that would have been a huge momentum swing that last drive for IMG offensively. 15 plays. That's got to be one of their longest of the year. That is long at any level against any opponent. They look to do something. You would like to get some quick strike points, but hey, they will take another long, sustained drive. They dominated the trenches in the line of scrimmage.
And Miami Norland, for some of their juniors and seniors looking for revenge. Last year's result on August 31st. IMG beat Miami Norland by a score of 39-14. And Chad Masco still in at quarterback, his heels on the 40. Looking deep downfield, tries to step up in the pocket, has some space, cuts into Viking territory, and brought down at the 45 of Miami Norland.
Flag down in the backfield, so this could all be coming back.
And it will be coming back.
This is a holding penalty against IMG. Will negate the run.
37 seconds remaining in the quarter. So this will be moved back. Almost a loss of 16 on the play. They have it spotted at the IMG 30.
Yeah, unfortunate that that one happened in the backfield. Negated a very good decision by Masco to tuck that one and run. Very capable ball handler.
Two receivers left, one to the right. And the pitch to Lavoisier Carroll. Trying to shake one tackle. He gets by the first one through the arms of Brian Springer, but again brought down in the backfield. And that should just about do it. Here for the first quarter, they may try to run one more play.
And this senior-laden Viking team, not intimidated early on. Able to get into the backfield there and make first contact.
2nd and 31, and that will temporarily stop the clock and give the Ascenders some free yards on 2nd and 31. So it'll be 2nd and 26, but the clock will start once the ball is spotted. And that will do it for the first quarter. After 12 minutes of play, IMG Academy 7, Miami Norland 0. We'll have the second quarter for you in just a moment. You're watching Ascender Football on IMG Academy TV. Beginning of the second quarter here at IMG Academy Stadium in Bradenton, Florida. IMG with a 2nd and 26 after the false start, or the encroachment that ended the first quarter. So they'll switch directions and they will now be heading into the wind. Masco throws one just over the head of Lavoisier Carroll. Will bring up 3rd and very long.
Yeah, he felt the pressure coming, and had Carroll been able to rein that one in, if that throw had been closer to the chest, he had a ton of green in front of him. So just an unfortunate error there. And one thing to keep in note, we mentioned the wind very strong in the face now of this IMG offense. They are a run-first team, but definitely could inhibit some passing down the field.
Masco tries again with the hard count as Silvera And Cheslow immediately to his right. Corey Palmer split out wide to the near side. Lavoisier Carroll in the backfield. Now takes the snap. Masco going to look to the air, looking for the deep ball. Wants, believe that's Michael Redding, and it is caught! Incomplete. Looked like he was able to keep it. And just an unfortunate last-second drop. Had it, and great defense by James Hood for Miami Norland to knock that one down.
Yeah, it looked like Redding had it between the hands, and as he tried to bring it down to the chest, just tipped off the helmet of Hood. Rather fortunate bounce if you're Miami Norland there, and now the Ascenders on to punt for the first time.
So 4th and 26, trying to bring the pressure. This one bouncing toward the sideline, and will take a Norland bounce toward midfield. Should be spotted about their own 49-yard line. And a little bit of a good old-fashioned stalemate after IMG was able to score on their first drive.
Hey, and at least at this point, Ryan, Miami Norland has not possessed the ball in IMG territory yet. It's by a yard this time, but that fact will remain true. And now for the Ascenders, this is a big-time stop, because if this game gets tied, it's anybody's ball game as we get down to the back half of the first half of the game. So one big stop could swing the momentum back for the offense.
And coming back in at quarterback, believe that is Tayari Sherwood. 2 receivers each side. 1 man in motion. They fake the jet sweep and sniffed out quickly in the backfield, and a flag in the neighborhood of holding, as Sherwood again just trying to get behind that large offensive line that he has before he could try and again break out that track star speed, but IMG all over it.
That looked like the senior captain, Isaiah Walker, on the top of your screen there, just kind of throwing a man. I think they may call a block in the back unless that flag came out just a split second earlier, but Walker commit to Florida. So a big body and a big college program getting the offensive lineman there.
Walker listed at 6'5", 305 pounds. Again, but still going up against one of the biggest defensive lines in the country.
Oh, and Walker's a big boy, but he's the only 300-pounder on this Miami Norland roster. As IMG, no stranger to the 3 billers, if you will.
So 1st and 23 from their own 36, going in the wrong direction. This play quickly. Melvin Jordan in pursuit. Pass is complete to Robert McMinn, and they'll get a few more back.
And this has been the entirety of the Viking passing attack thus far, has been these screens and short slants towards the outside, and you're not going to beat the Ascenders there unless you have just a mass of blockers heading out on a designed screened look.
Zach Boot also in on that tackle. And now Tayari Sherwood needing to get a nice chunk out of the 17 he needs to get to keep this drive going, and looks like might have been Warren Brinson just falling forward trying to jump the route, and Jordan Butler will spell him for a little. So 2nd and 17 becomes 2nd and 12. Now Sherwood again, just quickly into the flat for the first time into Ascender territory. That is Benson Prosper, also the kick return specialist. They'll bring up still 3rd and doable.
Like some tempo here from Miami Norland on a 3rd down play.
So from the Ascender 46, Sherwood awaits the snap. 2 receivers to his left and right. Now takes the snap quickly to the air and right through the hands. Unfortunate for Jaden Williams. Melvin Jordan had that pretty well read, as did Marcavius Brown, and instead the Butterfingers cost the 3rd down conversion.
And again, another quick strike passing play. Looks like that's going to be the MO in the passing attack for Miami Norland, is these quick passes to the outside, take advantage of the tight one-on-one coverage. And IMG holding stout here again.
And interesting now to see it is not Corey Palmer back to return, but Elias Ricks, 5-star recruit for IMG Academy. And this one is skied into the end zone, and you can see where the wind, again gusting at about 15 to 20 miles an hour, got into that one. I don't think the punter expected that one to go that far either.
No, you just get that one up into the jet stream. He's kicking towards the ocean. Had that tailwind to help him out, but for the Ascenders, they're going to get another chance. Really two different drives. The first drive, 15 plays. They were able to overcome a couple of ill-advised penalties, turn it into 6 points in the extra point. On the second drive, they tried to switch up the game plan a bit more, go through the air a little bit. I think we're going to see a lot more Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll with the ball in their hands early on in this drive.
Now man coverage outside for Michael Redding. Keep an eye on him. It is still Chad Masco in at quarterback, Katron Allen on his right hip. And there was an extra ball on the field, so the official has to temporarily cease play. And now Masco awaits the snap. And play action, he's going to keep it himself. He runs up, he gets to the 30, good enough for the first down, and stretches out for the 35. And the Ascenders will get 10 more yards.
And Masco is a big boy, listed at 6 feet tall, 230 pounds, from nearby Kissimmee, Florida, about an hour and a half to our east. He runs with the head down, which is not something you always like to see out of your quarterback, but it worked in that specific instance.
And then quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Masco takes the snap. This time the hand is to Katron Allen, who finds some space, fights forward, and drags 3 Vikings all the way up to the 46. Good enough for another Ascender first down, just muscling his way forward.
And I was getting ready to say, Ryan, that I'd like to see Katron Allen hit that hole with a little bit more oomph, but he makes it work. When you've got strength like that, it doesn't even matter if there is a hole. As long as you can drag a couple of defenders with you, you can turn nothing into something, and Katron Allen has shown a strong example of that today in many instances.
Looked like he had a quick little helmet malfunction on the impact, so quarterback Chad Masco helping him out there, and now making an adjustment at the line of scrimmage. Now the snap, the hand to Allen again, this time blown up in the backfield, and for a short loss. Again, just breaking right through the line of scrimmage.
That looked like the similar, if not the exact same look as the prior play. And that's just setting something up. You got to have the runs that maybe are not the 10, 12-yard gains up the middle, but your gain of 2, your losses of 1, because that draws everybody in and sets up your next play. No safety help almost to speak of for Miami Norland already.
Michael Silvera Jr. in motion. And Katron Allen just bursting through the line of scrimmage and fighting for that last yard, and good enough for another first down. So the yards he lost, he made up and got quite a few more.
Katron Allen taketh away, Katron Allen giveth, something like that. He was dragging a couple of defenders with him there and just following the blockers. A very patient run from Katron Allen.
Again, maybe starting to see some of that fatigue from this Miami Norland team that played just on Thursday night. Masco takes the snap. Pressure coming on the outside. Looking for the deep ball. Has Corey Palmer. It's caught and dropped. Corey Palmer goes to his knees, and they are going to say he caught it.
Yeah, looking at it on the replay, he had it, he brought it to the ground, and kind of an awkward landing. Looked like he went knee first into the ground. It flipped him over, but as soon as that knee touches with control in the high school ranks, that is a catch, a great grab, and that was the play call from the beginning. Masco with a quick 3-step drop and just fired that one up, let his oversized receiver do the work, and now all of a sudden in the red zone, expect to see some power runs as Lavoisier Carroll checks into the game.
So 30 yards on the completion to Corey Palmer. And now Masco to Lavoisier Carroll, dancing his way through the line of scrimmage, spins, keeps his feet into the end zone. Touchdown, IMG. Lavoisier Carroll shaking the whole Viking secondary and working his way into the end zone to put the Ascenders up another score.
And I think Carroll put himself in the spin cycle here. Made a move to the inside, nice spin move to get around a tackler. He was running horizontally. Corey Palmer had to say, hey, end zone's that away, bud, and he pushed him in there. Power run. Now each running back for the Ascenders with a touchdown here. Another long sustained drive capped off by that Carroll crusade to the end zone.
Erickson Buck on for the point after, and kicking directly into the wind. It is shift a little bit from near to far on your screen, but still finds it through the uprights with 7:37 remaining. IMG 14, Miami Norland 0.
This is exactly what we expected coming in, Ryan. IMG dominating the line of scrimmage, taking their shots when they need it, and the Lightning, the Thunder, the two-headed monster of the running backs, Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll, really taking this game over as the defense continues to do exactly as we predicted.
Again, the wind gusting into the face of Chad Masco, absolutely assisting on that big completion to Corey Palmer. It just perfectly floated it up into the hands of Corey Palmer. From our vantage point, looked like it may have been incomplete, but after further review, the official that was right there to see it called it a complete pass.
That's a great job for Palmer of trusting the hands. He knew that there was going to be a body around him. It was an awkward fall to the ground, too. Like I said, he landed knee first and kind of flipped, but he had possession. He had the knee down. That's just a great grab, and one play later, Carroll punching it in.
And now Buck, this time we would anticipate seeing some kind of a return. Again, with the wind gusting directly into the face of Erickson Buck. Might be able to fight his way through it. And instead, they just try to skip it, something we saw in the varsity game last night. And this one is going to be trouble. That is number 13, Benson Prosper, who returns it into Ascender territory. Again, for the Ascenders, probably hoping one of those second-level guys may have picked it up. Instead, it was their main returner. And a nice return, and I believe this is the first time that Miami Norland will be in IMG territory.
Well, that's one of the issues you run into on those low-rolling kicks, is that you don't necessarily have time to spread yourself out and get into the lanes on the kick coverage, and you get guys bunched up and taking advantage of that, and this will be the best starting field position by a long shot for the Vikings this afternoon.
And on their last drive, they did get into IMG territory, but
barely
had to punt. And this is Jaden Williams at quarterback. And to Kashawn Joseph, rolls out to his right, but and the run game has not been too strong for Miami Norland so far this afternoon.
I think the biggest difference between the IMG varsity and national Ascenders is the sideline to sideline speed. We saw the varsity team last night get burned on a couple of those outside runs where they couldn't get that contain early on, and that second level couldn't come in to make up for it. Nothing getting past this national front seven, as they are all over from sideline to sideline, covering and staying in their lanes, more importantly.
Now the snap. Thrown into the flat, and looks like it may have been intercepted. And the official's going to say it's complete, but it looked like Zach Boot. Let's take a look at the replay. And it looked like Boot had it for a little bit, and then it was wrestled out. I don't know. It looks like Zach Boot may have been robbed an interception right there.
Well, that's as close as 50-50 as it gets. I think Boot did have the ball laying on his back, but that is a tough call for any official.
Jaden Williams takes the snap, looks to his right, nowhere to go. Now rolling and pressure coming, has to get rid of it. And they're going to call that roughing the passer, but it is completed. Robert McMinn trying to work his way into the red zone, and there are multiple flags on the field.
Yeah, there's a flag thrown at the IMG 36 as the pass was being thrown, and as you mentioned, a big hit in the backfield. The initial look was not there, and good job. Credit to the offensive line for the Vikings. They were able to stay with their man, and really no pressure until late. That would have been a coverage sack.
And Josh Griffiths absolutely laying the wood to quarterback Jaden Williams. And also defensive holding, which was declined. So the personal foul on the roughing the passer, which, again, maybe a step sooner he wouldn't have gotten it, but Josh Griffiths definitely will make Jaden Williams think twice before taking that much time to scramble.
Well, and it just looked all the worse because it was in open space. There was nobody around him. It was right in front of the white hat. Just the perfect storm, if you will, of a roughing the passer call.
And it's time for the water break. We'll take it with them. 5:50 remaining in the first half. IMG leads 14-0 over Miami Norland. This is Ascender Football on IMG Academy TV. Break the water timeout. 1st and 10 from the IMG 13-yard line. Don't forget, get all your official IMG Academy gear, www.shopimg.com, your official IMG Academy online retailer. Williams takes the snap, looks to his right, pressure coming, and he's going to be swallowed up. Down he goes. Jordan Butler and also Grant Miller just bursting into the backfield.
I think he saw Miller. I know he didn't see Butler. Miller went low, Butler went high, and a big-time sack as that'll push them back across the original line of scrimmage. And for the Ascenders, if they can make a stop here, the special teams has not been a specialty for Miami Norland thus far. They could hold them off the board with a couple more stops.
3 receivers right, 1 to the left for Jaden Williams. Takes the snap, rolls to his right. And pressure coming. Looks like there could have been a hold, and throws across his body close to the end zone. And a late flag coming right at the point of the first initial contact. Not sure what this penalty might be.
Yeah, that could be a couple of things. Could be a defensive hold, could be a block in the back, and could be an offensive hold. Yeah, block in the back looked like, I believe that was number 13, Benson Prosper, just kind of throwing his hands into the back of the cornerback, and I believe that's what it'll be here, just judging by that replay.
And I don't know if they saw the block in the back as the official signaling first down, and the ball spotted right now at about the 2-yard line.
Interesting.
We saw it clear as day on the replay.
And we have that benefit, though.
So 1st and goal, they'll try to punch it in, and they'll go under center. We'll definitely have to be careful with this center quarterback exchange for these teams that don't typically do that. It looks like the ball may have gone down on the ground. There was a fumble. And the Ascenders have it. So knocking on the doorstep, Miami Norland getting ready to punch it in. And it hits the turf, and IMG is there to get it.
Yeah, Melvin Jordan fell on it. Let's see who knocked this one out. And we may not get that one as that ball was rolling around from the start. I think O.J. Burrows may have gotten the peanut punch in there, and that's a big-time turn of events. But now for the Ascenders, it's going to take them a couple of plays to get out from the shadow of their own end zone. Going to need a big push from the offensive line here.
And it looked like the handoff to Adam Weathers just never got there.
You were worried about the quarterback-center exchange. It's the quarterback to the fullback exchange that needed to be concerned about.
Just an absolutely deflating play for the Vikings, and if the Ascenders can get out of the shadow of their own end zone, putting this game out of hand. Masco takes the snap. The hand is up to Katron Allen, who's got room. Cuts back, levels one, fighting forward. Gets close to the first down marker. It looks like he'll have it. Gets up to the 14, a 12-yard gain for Katron Allen.
And that's as easy as it gets. Just give it to Katron. Let him do the rest. Let's see how many men touched him here. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end there as he drags a couple of players with him. It's taken more than one Viking defender to drag him down on every single run here in the first half.
Masco tries the hard count. Has Cheslow to his left, who will now move over to the more traditional tight end position. Now Masco, the hand again to Allen. Fights his way forward and close to another first down, just powering through and just taking any wind out of the sails that Miami Norland may have just had as they got close to getting their first points of the game.
And Allen is very similar to a young Le'Veon Bell, a very patient runner, has some quick feet in the backfield, but when he spies his hole, he is like a shark to blood. He hits it with a vengeance.
2nd and 1 from the 23. Masco takes the snap. This time he keeps it himself. Enough for the first down, and the 35, or down to the 30, and there's a flag. And it's in the neighborhood of holding.
Yeah, that one looked like it was behind the play, so unfortunate on that. But for Masco, you look at the replay, a couple of defenders coming in trying to punch that ball loose. Got to get 2 hands on the ball, especially as a quarterback running with a couple of defenders hanging off of you.
And that'll bring him back after the nice run by Katron Allen. They'll get back to about the 11-yard line. Call it 2nd and 13. Masco awaits the snap. There, he keeps it himself, runs right up the middle, and a shoestring tackle. Otherwise, he was going to have some room to run. And it'll bring up about 3rd and 10.
And if you're the Ascenders here with your play calling, you don't need to take your big shot. As much as you'd love a first down here, you're going to be content to wind this clock down to about the 1.5-minute mark over the next 2 plays. Would not be surprised if they just give it to Katron Allen and trust him to try and gain back this 10 yards.
So they'll call it 3rd and 11, 2 minutes to play in the half. Masco drops, looking deep downfield. All the time in the world, rolls to his left, and this time is popped. 2nd tackle in a row for Amari Taylor. And after that play, they'll quickly call a timeout. The Vikings will, to get as much time as they possibly can. Again, with this wind gusting, Sammy Kaja will have to try and get one through the wind to hopefully not give the Vikings ideal field position with 1:49 to go.
We've seen a number of different play calls, both with and without success for IMG so far. Almost ironically, Ryan, the play calls that have worked have just been the runs up the middle to Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll, aside from that big catch by Corey Palmer on the near sideline. So you don't need to get too crazy. It's just been a handful of big plays that have worked for them. When they try to get too cute and have Masco rolling out, they have not had much success. So if they do get one more try in the second half, obviously you're going to see some throws over the top, but a lot to work with on film as you head into the halftime break.
And one thing that also gets overlooked often with these big wind gusts is the exchange on the long snap as well. Could have some effect. So for punter Sammy Kaja, has to be very careful here. Pressure looking to be coming full bore by Norland, and an offside against Norland. So now IMG has to decide if they might want to bring on their offensive unit, because 4th and 1, a lot different than 4th and 6.
And you'd like to think that they could pick up the yard, but I think with where they are on the field, I don't necessarily think that they want to take that risk. Now, if they're closer to midfield, I don't think it's a bad idea to try it, but I think with where they are, you do not want to give Miami Norland as short a field as it would should they not convert with this little time left in the half.
And again, Norland looking to bring the house. Great snap. And nice boot. This will bounce just shy of the 50. And it will be down by Melvin Jordan. And there is a flag. And 3 late flags.
Yeah, that was Markevius Brown. He was getting thrown around by Kashawn Joseph, and it was apart from the play. It was...
So it was an unsportsmanlike conduct against Miami Norland. So from where the ball is spotted, they will move back the other way.
And you can almost see that ball get pushed back by the wind. Kaja got it up in that jet stream, and it was a noted change at about the 40-45 yard line when that thing started getting pushed back towards the IMG end zone.
So currently the ball spotted at the IMG 46. And imagine this should drag the ball back into Viking territory.
Unless they're going to call that on Brown. He's getting escorted back to the locker room by an assistant coach as we speak. Maybe they're going to offset, because from what we saw, it didn't look like Brown was the aggressor. It looked like Kashawn Joseph was the one standing over top of him with his hands on his face mask and then doing the Allen Iverson step over afterwards. So I don't know if they missed it or if Brown had committed some extracurriculars that we didn't see. So now, almost to where IMG punted the ball from. And I think that's what Kevin Wright's asking about. He's pointing in both directions as the head referee's coming over. He's saying, hey, shouldn't there be, offsetting coincidentals there? But I think he's explaining exactly what he saw, and not much of an argument from Wright. He's already sent Brown to the locker room, so his mind's made up.
And I did see the head official come over to Kevin Wright and do the ejection signal.
So he's not done for the half. He's done for the game.
And now the officials will get back into place after some confusion on the field, and we will resume play a minute 36. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings from the Ascender 31. Now Williams, pressure coming, looking deep, and he is going to be eaten up by Jordan Butler. Jordan Butler just breaking through unabated to the quarterback and just destroys him.
And a great little stunt there. Butler, as big and strong as he is, very quick and athletic as well. Almost a delayed blitz as he worked around another defensive tackle, and he'd be hard-pressed to find anybody at any level, high school, college, NFL, that can block him when he gets a full head of steam.
Jaden Williams, again, his last drive took a nasty hit by Josh Griffiths. Led to a roughing penalty and then eventually the fumble. Now Williams, low snap, able to hand it off, but quickly into the backfield is DeMonte Capehart, the Clemson commit, and able to shut that down before it gets any steam going forward.
That's the first time that we've called Capehart's name. Usually he is much more of a factor in the run-stopping game, but a good try there. And with under 30 seconds left in ticking, I think Norland's going to try one last shot towards the end zone. Remember, IMG getting the ball coming out of the locker room, so there's going to be a lot to work with, and we'll probably see a lot of it on the offensive side right out of the gate.
Would also anticipate if this does try to go into the end zone, Vikings will do whatever they can to try to draw some kind of penalty to possibly get one more shot, and they'll wait till the clock winds down, and they'll call a timeout.
There's 1 second left. Yeah, the Ascenders were all starting to head towards the locker room. I don't think they realized that there was a 1 second difference between the play and the game clock.
So they are going to wait one more play and try to fling one into the end zone. So we expect to see the Ascenders in some kind of a prevent defense here, but can also leave the Vikings open to try some kind of running play to maybe get upfield and into the end zone. But the running game has been almost non-existent today for Miami Norland.
Yeah, and the Ascenders have really not needed to send more than their 4 defensive linemen on the blitz. They've done a good job of applying pressure and, more importantly, plugging up gaps. They have not allowed many, if any, runs up the middle for positive yards. So, yeah, you mentioned it, Ryan, the defensive backs immediately coming off the sideline and heading back towards the end zone. And looks like we're going to see some kind of a nickel dime quarter defense, whatever you want to call it, with just 2 linebackers and 4 defensive linemen on the field.
And it is still Jaden Williams. One man in motion is the other quarterback, and pressure coming, thrown across the middle. It is caught. It's Robert McMinn again, but not going to get enough to get into the end zone. He'll be brought down to the 21, and that will end the half. After 24 minutes of play, the Ascenders lead 14-0 over the Vikings. You're watching Ascender Football on IMG Academy TV.
Football, it always starts with the helmet. That's the first day, it's all you get to wear, the helmet. But I'm tired of just running around in t-shirts. I'm ready to see guys in the helmet. We've got the guys from Zenith, the helmet that these guys are going to put on. You're going to fit you. It's going to be fit professionally.
All right. You're good to go, my man.
Hi, I'm Carly McNatt. I'm going into 9th grade, and I'm from Satellite Beach, Florida. I run cross country, and last year I finished #1 in the nation for 8th graders in the 5K. My personal best was 17:13 in the 5K. I think I can bring a lot of energy and grit and hopefully some talent and inspire more people to come and train with us as well.
We're out here getting right for pictures. I mean, Patrick Evans over here. I mean, he's got probably the best smile on the team. Smile for us. See, and Jackson Zager and I. See, yeah, baby, let's get it.
All right, 2019 media day. You know, doing headshots right now.
I want everything. I want everything.
You ever have that day? You know, that day, that very moment, you got better. Your better got better. What if that day was every day?
When it starts to matter, when we turn the scoreboard on, there's no margin for error. This is it.
Keep looking.
Come on, let's go.
We're in our training camp. Let's go.
They're secondary in the nation.
There ain't no one in the nation, baby.
IMG on 3, brother, hard 6. 1, 2, 3. IMG. 4, 5, 6.
Football, it always starts with the helmet. That's the first day, it's all you get to wear, the helmet. But I'm tired of just running around in t-shirts. I'm ready to see guys in the helmet. We've got the guys from Zenith, the helmet that these guys are going to put on. You're going to fit you. It's going to be fit professionally.
All right, you're good to go, my man.
Hi, I'm Carly McNatt. I'm going into 9th grade, and I'm from Satellite Beach, Florida. I run cross country, and last year I finished #1 in the nation for 8th graders in the 5K. My personal best was 17:13 in the 5K. I think I can bring a lot of energy and grit and hopefully some talent and inspire more people to come and train with us as well.
We're out here getting right for pictures. I mean, Patrick Evans over here. I mean, he's got probably the best smile on the team. Smile for us. See, and Jackson Zager and I. See, yeah, baby, let's get it.
All right, 2019 media day, you know, doing headshots right now.
I want everything. I want everything.
You ever have that day? You know, that day, that very moment, you got better. Your better got better. What if that day was every day?
When it starts to matter, when we turn the scoreboard on, there's no margin for error. This is it.
Keep looking. Come on, let's go.
We in our training camp. Let's go.
They're secondary in the nation.
There ain't no one in the nation, baby. IMG on 3, brother, hard 6. 1, 2, 3. IMG. 4, 5, 6.
Football, it always starts with the helmet. That's first day, it's all you get to wear, the helmet. But I'm tired of just running around in t-shirts. I'm ready to see guys in the helmet. We've got the guys from Zenith, the helmet that these guys are going to put on, you're going to fit you, it's going to be fit professionally.
You're good to go, my man.
Hi, I'm Carly McNatt. I'm going into 9th grade, and I'm from Satellite Beach, Florida. I run cross country, and last year I finished #1 in the nation for 8th graders in the 5K. My personal best was 17:13 in the 5K. I think I can bring a lot of energy and grit and hopefully some talent and inspire more people to come and train with us as well.
We're out here getting right for pictures. I mean, Patrick Evans over here. I mean, he's got probably the best smile on the team. Smile for us. See, and Jackson Zager and I. See,
Yeah, baby, let's get it.
All right, 2019 Media Day, you know, doing headshots right now.
I want everything. I want everything.
You ever have that day? You know, that day, that very moment, you got better. Your better got better. What if that day was every day?
When it starts to matter, when we turn the scoreboard on, there's no margin for error. This is it.
Keep looking.
Come on, let's go.
We're in our training camp. Let's go.
They're secondary in the nation.
There ain't no one in the nation, baby. IMG on 3, brother, hard 6. 1, 2, 3. IMG. 4, 5, 6.
IMG Academy Stadium here in Bradenton, Florida, getting ready for second half kickoff. Both teams coming out of halftime. Wondering, Matt Neverett, my broadcast partner, I myself, Ryan Sudol, what adjustments will be made. It was a pretty strong first half, but almost looked a little flat for IMG, and Miami Norland just not able to get anything going at all on offense.
And I think for IMG defensively, you don't need to make a change. They barely allowed any yards, did not allow any points. You take away a couple of those little penalties at the back end of the half, and it really was a perfect half defensively. For the offense, just a bit sluggish. They started off well, a 15-play scoring drive the first time that they had the ball in their hands, and then that was about it, aside from one big play reined in by Corey Palmer on a long pass punched in by a Lavoisier Carroll touchdown run on the next play. Little to no success for the offense other than that first drive and that big long pass. So I think that they got to just stick it in the gut of Katron Allen and Lavoisier Carroll. Let the big dogs eat. Let them do what they do best and really put the team on their back in the second half.
And with the college football slate that is going on today, appreciate you spending your Saturday afternoon with us here on YouTube and IMG Academy TV. Those of you that maybe have a TV on in the background as well with college football and are maybe unaware of what IMG Academy is all about, at any given time on any given college football Saturday over the last 6 years, IMG with over 100 Division I college football athletes, most of them from Power 5 conferences as well, including 5 starting quarterbacks over the last 6 years. Some high schools would be happy to have 5 in their 100-year careers, but this is just in the last 6 years since head coach Kevin Wright has taken over, and the year before with Chris Winkie and DeAndre Francois at Florida State. As that kickoff will give IMG Academy ideal field position. Again, the wind will be at their back. They are going to be attacking from the south to the north here in Bradenton, right to left on your screen.
And the kickoff return team staying out there. I don't know if they're going to force them to re-kick this one. But barely anybody moved. That kick was out of bounds almost immediately, and I think that's what we're going to get. I think they might force them to re-kick it here. And the wind definitely forced that one out of bounds way early, so we'll get to try that one again. I think they're going to bump this one back.
So rather than take the ball at the 35-yard line. IMG opts to have them move back to kick it from the Viking 35.
They think they can do better on the return.
And with Elias Ricks and Ari Allen back there, I do not doubt that. And Tyrese McDonald listed as a 5'11", 205-pound linebacker. This will be fielded as number 14, DeKel Crowdis, gets up to the 40, and it pays off.
And that was another one that was going to go out of bounds. You see it here on the replay. If Crowdis lets that one bounce, that one's going to skip out of bounds easily on the short hop. So that was definitely in the game plan. Keep the ball in bounds, and Crowdis ended up advancing it about 15 yards, but it took him about 70 yards of running to do it.
So instead of taking the penalty and starting from the 35, they will start from their own 48-yard line.
Hey, the gamble pays off. That one was misspotted, but we are getting a new look, Ryan, coming out of the half as DJ Boney, the signal caller, coming out of the locker room.
So Chad Masco gets the first half, DJ Boney the second, and the officials still not entirely sure what's going on.
Yeah, they had it marked on that far hash for some reason, and then smartly the side judge here on the near side calling it over. Hey, they're rusty after that 20-minute intermission, right?
So Boney has Katron Allen on his right hip, 2 targets to his right, 1 to the left. Boney takes the snap, keeps it himself, rolls out to his right, has space deep into Viking territory, cuts up at the 35, and a flag comes in downfield. It's going to be a probably net gain of 0 based on the position in which it was thrown.
That's what DJ Boney brings to the game that Chad Masco maybe does not. It's just that quick burst speed. Not that Masco is slow by any stretch, but Boney has as much quick twitch muscle as anybody on the field and shows it off right there. Welcome to the game, DJ Boney. You take away that penalty, that's an extremely fine welcome, but as you mentioned, Ryan, that's going to drop him back about 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2. First down and 12 upcoming after the penalty.
From the 45. So only a net loss of 2, so he would have liked to have that 20-plus yard run, but it'll be Boney back to the well. Takes the snap, hands to Katron Allen, who finds some space up the middle, and he is going to break free down to the 25 and finally dragged down inside the red zone to about the 17-yard line. Welcome back to the game, Katron Allen.
And Byreese Berry, number 11, a touchdown-saving fingertip grab. You see the left hand holding on to the bottom of that jersey. That's why you train the finger strength. If he does not grab hold of Allen's jersey there, that is an easy touchdown run for Katron, but don't you worry, he'll get his opportunities here in the second half.
37 yards from Katron Allen. And an official timeout. Looks like maybe it will be Miami Norland taking. Oh, there's a player down, so they will step aside for a brief injury, and that was the tackler, Byreese Berry. Again, he got dragged about 15 yards.
And oftentimes when you're not in control of your body like that, when you're getting dragged around, your legs can kind of flail around in ways that you don't necessarily feel coming, and it can lead to a little bit of the injuries. Fortunately, Berry off the field under his own power, albeit a little bit gingerly. So after that brief pause, looks like IMG sending their same 11 offensive players back out onto the field.
I would imagine probably a sore hand and arm and shoulder after Katron Allen just absolutely ripped him down the field.
Sore everything.
Corey Palmer and Ari Allen to the near side. Katron Allen, the tailback. I believe that's Michael Redding split out wide to the right. And a flag. I don't know how you can have a delay of game after they get immediately set after an injury timeout from Norland.
And this start to the second half is kind of similar to how IMG started out the first half offensively. Not a lot of flow, a lot of starting and stopping with a couple of penalties mixed in there. But there is a surefire way to get the flow back into the game, and it's a couple of big plays and a touchdown.
Now Boney waits. Snap there, looks, fires to the right. Has Michael Redding, but quickly to the ball is James Hood, 5'9", 160-pound senior.
And that's the disadvantage there for Boney of not playing in the first half. You see that ball not quite as tight a spiral as he would have liked. It kind of got caught in the wind as well, fluttered up there like a butterfly for an extra half a second or so. Good job by Redding to rein it in and track it down, but Boney got to be a bit sharper on the spiral.
Same formation, this time Katron Allen on the right. The hand is to Katron Allen, and he just absolutely trucks the defender, falling forward inside the 10-yard line. What a hit by Katron Allen.
Angel Garces standing in the way, and look out, the train's coming through. Katron Allen lowering the shoulders and laying the boom on the defender. Big time third down upcoming here.
So from the 12, two receivers right, Corey Palmer the lone target to the left, and the hard count is going to draw Meldrick Glenn offside, and that's going to give IMG a free first down. Also something DJ Boney is very good at is that hard count and the ability to draw the opposing defensive line offside.
It's interesting that that is considered a skill, although from the high school level up, there's a handful of guys who are really, really good at it, namely Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. That is his specialty. Rodgers uses it to get free plays on some long passes. Boney uses it to convert third downs like that.
Now Boney gets the snap, the hand to Katron Allen, dancing around, trying to find an open hole, dancing through the line of scrimmage, falling forward, and just shy of the goal line. Sidestepping about a total of 20 yards on that play.
And for Allen, he's looking for the hole like you mentioned, Ryan. He's a guy who doesn't necessarily need a hole. You would like to see him hit the gap with a bit of a vengeance there where the blockers are.
And now this time Boney keeps it himself into the end zone untouched. Touchdown IMG. DJ Boney from inches out puts the Ascenders up 3 scores.
And as I mentioned, that's the way to rectify a start and a stop tempo on your first drive coming out of the locker room. And for DJ Boney, that is as good as it gets. Quick, efficient, you get the touchdown to wrap things up. All of a sudden, a 3-touchdown lead for the Ascenders.
And the cloud cover now disappears. The sun comes out here in Bradenton. Had some torrential downpours earlier as the snap is back. The hold is down, and the kick by Erickson. Buck is up and good with 8:51 remaining. IMG takes a 21-0 lead over Miami Norland. Again, we had a nice cool breeze here in Bradenton, about 80 degrees with the cloud cover, but the sun probably going to add, 5 to 10 on these players. And as the game rolls on and they get more fatigued, will definitely take an effect going into the fourth quarter.
Well, and it's definitely an advantage for IMG. It's an atmosphere that they are used to. They played down here all summer, as it's still summer heat. It's still in the mid to upper 80s, even the low 90s at this time of the year. But one thing that we've been talking about all game, Miami Norland played a contest on Thursday. It was one that they won 41-0. The fatigue didn't play as much a factor in the first half. I think we're going to see a lot more of it in the second half. Look for IMG to start steamrolling in the running game, more so than they already have.
And a big wind gusting still at Erickson. Buck's back. Would anticipate this going into the end zone for yet another touchback. And it will.
That thing was almost a rocket off his foot.
Almost putting it through the uprights.
Yeah, he doesn't need much of an advantage on those kickoffs.
And now the IMG defense, which has been just as close to perfect as you can possibly be here in Bradenton, will come back out onto the field. And again, that line, Warren Brinson, Jordan Butler, DeMonte Capehart, just been absolutely dominant. Carter Hooper also in there at left end. JT Ellis, Josh Griffiths. I mean, any number of defensive linemen that you see and linebackers always a threat.
Yeah, the defensive backs really have not been tested that much. O.J. Burrows, we haven't even seen Legend Cavazos yet. He's been on the sideline the whole game. They really haven't needed him, as the front seven has done much of the heavy lifting. They're going to have their work cut out for him as Tayari Sherwood back in the game, the speedy quarterback.
Awaits the snap, takes it, looks to his left quickly, and almost intercepted. Would have been a sure pick six by Mac Jordan.
And that's why these DBs have not been tested, because they are supremely quick. Micah Jordan with some great recognition there. He saw that one from the jump. Sherwood eyeing that up as soon as he got the ball. And you mentioned it, Ryan, that would have been an easy pick six for Jordan. He'll take the knockdown nonetheless and let the defensive line try and do some work. I think that this is a really good opportunity for this defensive unit. If they can get a stop, get a short field for the offense, if they can put the ball in the end zone one more time, that should just about swing the game in IMG's favor. A 4-touchdown lead.
Now Sherwood awaits the snap, one man in motion. It is the little jet sweep and trying to cut up a little early. Again, with plays like that, you want to get as far out to the sideline as you possibly can. Benson Prosper did not get the memo.
But you're not going to beat this IMG defense sideline to sideline. They are as quick as anybody in the country. Definitely quicker than anybody in the state of Florida. IMG, even with the loss last week, still the #1 team in the state of Florida and the #5 team overall in the country. You're not going to beat them sideline to sideline. You've got to get creative and find some ways to push the ball down the field.
So 3rd and 7. Ticking down to just about 8 minutes remaining. Sherwood takes the snap, pressure coming, pocket closes, and he's got to get rid of it, and he does. Almost intercepted by Warren Brinson out of bounds.
You'll see it at the end here. Brinson, you got to hold on to that ball. You'll get major props in the locker room, and looking at the film, yeah, they're going to be giving him some flag for that for weeks to come. But a big stop. That is as good as it gets for IMG. Just about a 5-yard gain on the one rush on that drive, and now a really, really good opportunity to give your offense a short field.
We'll make sure not to hashtag that one not top 10.
You don't want to call out your own guys, right? Just the other team.
Now the snapback pressure coming, and tracking Corey Palmer, and takes a favorable Viking bounce. And will stop short just about the 44-yard line.
If you're DJ Boney in the offense here, you don't need to change a thing. The front five, the offensive linemen in the trenches did a great job of getting a push, creating some space. Katron Allen took care of the majority of that drive. DJ Boney would expect to see him get a touch or two, as he had that long run negated by a penalty. So starting to roll on all cylinders. I think this offense does roll a little bit better with DJ Boney. Chad Masco playing limited time throughout this year. He is supremely talented, but I think Boney makes this offense run just a bit better.
So Redding and Ari Allen to the near side. Lavoisier Carroll checks back in as your running back. Snap to Boney, the hand to Carroll, and he is stood up on his first carry in the second half, and will be brought down for a loss, but don't anticipate that being the result if they give it to him again.
Yeah, and that's about as good of a push as this defensive front for Miami Norland has had all afternoon. A good job of getting into the backfield by the senior captain, Carlian Gray Johnson there, and more importantly of holding on to Lavoisier Carroll. He can make anybody miss.
Now Boney takes the snap. The hand is to Carroll this time. Able to bounce off one and get those lost yards back and add one more. They'll credit him for about 2 yards on the carry.
A couple of unsuccessful runs to get things going, but you got to have those setup plays. You can really base your offense around that. Would not be surprised to see some kind of a play action look, especially with this trips formation coming out to the near side.
And I think Ari Allen is going to get called for the false start, as it looked like he was getting ready to run in motion. Going backwards, looks like he was waiting for the quick pass from DJ Boney.
There's some kind of a bubble screen there. That likely would have been the look with a couple of lead blockers in that trips formation. And this refereeing crew getting together once again. I honestly don't see how you can not call that one a false start, especially given the fact that he started and then stopped. He almost gave himself away there.
And I think that's what Ari Allen is pleading. He went back as if he was going to go in motion, never moved forward. And the chain gang just a little confused right now as the down marker will come.
And Kevin Wright is as well. He's talking to the side judge over there trying to figure out just what's going on. And down marker says fourth, should still be third down. Yeah, they're rectifying that as we speak.
Boney awaits. 3 receivers to the left. 1 out wide to the right. Now Boney drops, looking, pressure coming, throws across the middle, has a man. It is Corey Palmer, good for the first down into Viking territory.
Great job of spreading out the coverage, firing it over the middle, and Palmer's down. He looks to be in some serious pain.
And the trainers will come out.
But again, a great job in a spread wide formation for this IMG offense. Getting everybody out, getting one-on-one coverage really for everybody. And you're not going to be able to keep up with Corey Palmer in a one-on-one. A great move over the middle, a great throw by Boney, and an even better snag.
And good to see Corey Palmer back up on his feet.
Holding that left arm.
So the Ascenders with a first down. That'll 18 yards on the play. Little offensive team huddle before they go back over the ball. Will still be Boney and Carroll in the backfield. Michael Silvera Jr. and Ari Allen to the far side. Zach Cheslow tucked in at tight end with Michael Redding in man coverage. Not a very wise decision on the near side. Snap back. The hand is to Carroll. No, Boney's going to keep it himself and will get a couple yards. It's a matchup that I think the Ascenders should probably try to exploit if they're going to try to get the University of Miami commit in man coverage, especially right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a play like that, I think DJ Boney's better off handing that. That's a quick decision to make, but he had a couple of defenders hanging off of him from the start.
And it'll be a water break. We will take it with him. 5:47 remaining in the third quarter. Ascenders lead 21-0. And on the march, this is Ascender Football on IMG Academy TV. Ascenders continue on the march. Ball spotted at the 34, looks about 2nd and 7. The hand to Carroll straight up the middle, and he's got some open field to the 10-5. Touchdown! Lavoisier Carroll from 34 yards out puts this game away for the Ascenders.
And that is as easy as it gets as soon as he was into that second level. Nobody touching him, nobody even coming close. And yeah, you mentioned it, Ryan. We've been talking. You get that 4-touchdown lead at home against the team that you've been overpowering all day. This might about do it with this extra point. It's Lavoisier Carroll and Katron Allen doing a ton of the heavy lifting. And this offense really elevating itself to another level in this second half, mostly because of the decision-making of DJ Boney coming out of the locker room.
Erickson Buck lines up the point after snap back, hold down. The kick is up and good. 5:19 remaining. And the Ascenders lead the Vikings 28-0, basically putting this game out of reach as the Miami Norland offense has shown really no signs of life. And the one time they were able to get within the 2-yard line They put it on the ground, which basically took the wind out of any momentum in any sails that they could have possibly had.
And that drive you're referencing was the only time they've been in the red zone, only time they've really even been close to the red zone. This has been a dominating defensive performance for the IMG Ascenders, starting to turn into a dominating offensive performance. And I think we're going to start to see some of these second, third stringers getting in. And now I think we're starting to see the fatigue starting to manifest itself for Norland, playing their second game in the last 3 days.
And per FHSAA rule, if the IMG defense can stop the Viking offense here on this next drive and score, 35-point lead will institute a running clock. As Buck puts this one deep again and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
As we talked about this IMG defense, it's not like they've gone back and forth, given some, taken some. They have been taking it to Miami Norland. There really has been no level of success offensively for the Vikings. They have not found one single thing that has worked for them offensively that they can go back to.
There you see DeMonte Capehart, Josh Griffiths, Melvin Jordan, Warren Brinson. Again, we mentioned Brinson, and you look at that defensive line right there and those anchors in number 97 and number 19. 97 Warren Brinson going to play in the SEC at Georgia, along with former IMG alum Nolan Smith, and the guy to his right, DeMonte Capehart, going to Clemson in the ACC, following the footsteps of another IMG alum and one of the most explosive freshmen last year at the University of Clemson, and that was Xavier Thomas. Now Williams at quarterback. They try to run to the outside again. And Keshawn Joseph absolutely planted into the ground, but gets about a yard on the play.
Zachary Boot has come into his own this afternoon after really serving in a reserve role for the majority of the season. The Canuck, the Canadian, has done a really good job of filling gaps and making open field one-on-one tackles. That time laying the boom on the running back all alone on the outside.
Jaden Williams. And wind blowing directly into the face of Miami Norland right now. Williams takes a look at the play clock now, rolls to his right, looking deep downfield and throws that one out, and they're going to say incomplete. Intended for Benson Prosper, and goes to his knees and looks like he might have just dragged. From our first look, it looked like he may have in fact caught that inbounds, but that's a close one.
I think that left knee touched the ground at the same time as the left foot, and without the benefit of the replay, both referees on that sideline signaled incomplete, and that's a tough one. It's a matter of where possession was made, and I don't think that's one that you can justify calling a completion right there, naked eye game speed.
Again, would have been a big first down for the Vikings. Instead, they find themselves at 3rd and long. One man in motion, and now they try a little trickeration, and it springs Joseph, but again, everybody in on that tackle. Melvin Jordan, Josh Griffiths, everybody right over to the line, and almost certainly a punting situation again.
And a great job of not over pursuing, not falling victim to that counter play and holding him up there. Great job by Bruce Seaton of drawing the ball carrier back towards their own end zone and allowing the rest of the team to come in and commit that gang tackle. As, again, assignment football, you stay in your lane, the rest will take care of itself. The Ascenders have done that to perfection this afternoon.
So now Elias Ricks was back to return, but was told to leave the field with another uniform malfunction. So O.J. Burrows, the IMG all-time season leader in interceptions, will stand back at his 40-yard line, as that will go poorly off the foot of Tyrese McDonald, and will stay in Viking territory, and it's spotted at the 38.
Not that the Ascenders have needed much of an advantage offensively, especially here in the second half. What else can you say, Ryan? Another stout stop by this IMG defense. They have not given any inkling of hope for this Vikings offensive attack at all today.
So now we'll see DJ Boney and Katron Allen back onto the field. And we'll
Corey
see
Palmer on the sideline with an ice pack on the shoulder. I would expect that he is done for the rest of the game.
And the Ascenders, this their last home game of the year. They will head up to Hoover, Alabama next week. Usual perennial Alabama State champs as Katron Allen springs one loose, and he's to the 10-5 touchdown. Katron Allen from 38 yards out. Back-to-back huge rushes by Lavoisier Carroll and Katron Allen. Again, yards after contact, over 30 on that play. Katron Allen, unbelievable.
You think the Vikings are tired? That was as easy as it gets, and really a very similar run to Lavoisier Carroll's on the last drive. Just getting into that second level. As soon as he does that, nobody even close. Allen and Carroll doing it all this afternoon.
IMG definitely making adjustments at half. Miami Norland, not so much, and the running clock will come into play. It's 35-0, the Ascenders over the Vikings. And there it is. Approaching 5 o'clock local time here in Bradenton, Florida, just about 30 minutes south of the Tampa Bay area on the Gulf Coast of Florida, about a 3.5-hour drive from Miami Norland, and have a feeling there's going to be a lot of 3.5-hour naps on the way back to Miami.
Yeah, I think playing one game a week is tough for a lot of these guys in this Florida heat, especially this time of year. But playing 2 games in a 48-hour stretch, that's asking a lot of any team at any level across the world. So for Miami Norland, they were at an immediate disadvantage when this game was scheduled due to the original postponement due to Hurricane Dorian way back in August.
That also caused the initial game with Miami Northwestern in the early weeks to be moved down to Miami. They did not want to travel up here and possibly be stranded, even though Dorian did take a turn that did not affect the Miami area at all.
Better safe than sorry.
And that one, they touch back again, and should probably only see one more play or so in this half, as the IMG defense will come back out. 1st and 10 from the Norland 20.
And this is an opportunity on both sides of the ball for IMG to see what your backups are made of. This is your younger guys starting to find a way to get into the game. I think defensively we're going to see probably one more drive of the starting 11, and then maybe start to mix in as Alaire Gonzalez, the 3rd-string quarterback on the sideline, starts to get his tosses. I think the next offensive drive for IMG is where you're going to see a lot of the reserves getting in.
In this second half so far, the ball has not been past the IMG 45-yard line. It has stayed completely in Miami Norland territory, as Benson Prosper tries a little end around. And a positive play for Miami Norland will get them about 4 yards. Will bring up 2nd and 6.
And this is about the time of game and the way that this game has played out, where the referee's got to keep a close eye for some of these big-time shots behind the play, maybe a little bit late, as it's going to come down to coaching. I think you got to tell your guys, hey, you know, the game is more or less already decided. We're in a running clock before the 4th quarter starts. You got to play clean. You got to play smart. Don't give up anything. Let's take this dominating performance down to the end.
And it is Sherwood still back in at quarterback, and again, quickly into the backfield are the Ascenders. Shutting that play down, I believe that was Bruce Seaton.
And Zachary Boot containing around the outside as well. He's having himself a fantastic contest. He forced that run back to the inside, and Seaton finished him off.
Zach Boot, mentioned the Canadian. Bruce Seaton, 6'2", 37-pound linebacker out of Port Townsend, Washington. And after that great play by the IMG defense, Miami Norland wants no more of it here in the 3rd quarter. We go to the 4th. Ascenders lead 35-0. You're watching Ascender football on IMG Academy TV. the fourth quarter. Alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Neverett, Ryan Sudol with you for the final 12 minutes. Miami Norland trailing by 35. And it is Tayari Sherwood still in at quarterback for the Vikings. Again, man in motion. They look over the top, pressure coming. Sherwood rolls to his right, nowhere to go. And going to be in the neighborhood. That's probably going to be an intentional grounding.
Yeah,
and it is.
Yeah, Sherwood out of necessity felt the pressure, saw Griffiths in the face, thought he had a man out there and was just barely inside that tackle box. Of course, it's not where the tackles are at the end of the play. It's where they line up, and that's obviously the distance penalty, but also a loss of downs as well, so that'll bring up a fourth down.
And lucky for Miami Norland, they'll have a chance to get a punt deep downfield with the wind at their back finally.
It's been one of the only advantages they've had all day.
And with grounding being a spot foul, that's going to push them back into the shadow of their own end zone.
The Senators are looking for a return here. They've got 3 men back with their heels on the 50-yard line. They're looking to try and get great field position here and get a short field, turning it around.
McDonald at the back of the end zone. Pressure coming quick, and he actually skies this one. Chance to be returned. It is Elias Ricks. Ricks cuts back, trying to make a few miss. Runs back upfield. He's to the 40. Flag comes in from about 30 yards away. Ricks gets up to the 30, but again, no real room to go at the end of that run, and almost certainly going to be coming back.
Yeah, I think Takel Crowd has got a man in the back. Yeah, sky-high kick, got it up in that jet stream, and let's see if we can find where this call came. Yeah, you said it came from about 30 yards away. Referee showing off the wing here late.
And there's a conversation being had as they have temporarily stopped the clock as the officials decide this play with 10 minutes and 18 seconds remaining.
I mean, regardless of where this penalty sets him back to, it's still going to be about a 50-yard, they're waving that off, so it's going to be an even shorter field. Forget what I was going to say, so they call that one back. As IMG is going to start from inside the Viking 35-yard line. And here comes Alaric Gonzalez, the backup quarterback. We're going to see Jack Codwell also. So now, as I predicted, Ryan, we're going to start seeing a lot of these second and third stringers heading out there for the offense.
But don't be fooled. Jack Codwell, the 5'11", 210-pound running back out of Pearland, Texas, is definitely capable of taking one in from 30 yards out.
He's a similar runner to Katron Allen. Very strong, keeps the feet moving, very downhill runner with the ball in his hands.
And Gonzalez takes the snap. Codwell makes a couple miss, falls forward, loses the ball. And it is going to be Norland football.
That's what you don't want to have happen on the first touch of the game. See, he just gets a little bit loose with the ball. It was a good job of putting the helmet on the ball by Amari Taylor, the defensive lineman for the Vikings. That's what you're taught there. You put the hat to the ball and good things will happen. And a rare miscue, the first turnover of the game offensively for the Ascenders.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Miami Norland from their own 30-yard line. Again, they have not been past the IMG 44 in this second half. The closest they've gotten to the end zone was the IMG 2. That coming back in the second quarter before putting the ball on the turf and allowing the Ascenders to recover. And now Sherwood going to line up in the slot, and it will be Jaden Williams in at quarterback. So a different look. And 3 receivers to the left for Williams, 1 to the right. Takes the snap, now drops. Pressure coming, throws across the middle, and a beautiful pass completed to Benson Prosper. Been one of their biggest offensive weapons all day, and good for the Viking first down.
Yeah, on a day when they have not had too many weapons, Prosper has been a rare bright spot, and a throw right on the money from Jaden Williams. Surprising that they're throwing over the middle at this juncture in the game with how stout this IMG defensive pressure has been since the start.
Still Williams, same formation, takes the snap, drops back, looking, pumps across the middle, and another completion. And it is Prosper again. And now a little deeper into IMG territory.
And they caught Zach Boot napping. That pump fake on the initial screen froze him for just long enough, and you see him reaching up there at the end trying to rectify that mistake. But back-to-back strikes thrown by Jaden Williams, showing off the arm here late in the game, down by 35 points.
26 yards on that completion. One of the Vikings' biggest plays of the day. And they'll stick to the air game. Empty backfield. Pressure coming in. It's a bull rush, and down goes Williams. Carter Hooper also there. Zay Peterson. And Zay Peterson absolutely shot out of a cannon through the line of scrimmage, completely unguarded. And that's one of those dangers when you have that empty backfield. No tight end for an extra blocker or running back. And running for his life. And now it's 2nd and 18 from the IMG 35. And looking to bring pressure again. Jordan Butler gets through, and that one intended for Tiari Sherwood. On the coverage, number 37, Aisa Trotman. Got a great stop early in the first quarter when Elias Ricks had to step off.
Yeah, Sherwood, a multi-use quarterback, was the starting signal caller. They've used him as a wide receiver here in the second half almost exclusively, and you start to see some of these field conditions come into effect there as he made the turn to try and come around and put the hands up for the grab, and the shoes just came out from underneath him as it's a soft turf. We were down there during halftime looking around, and his grass is all mulched up down there.
Again, mentioned the IMG varsity team playing last night against Lake Placid. Now the snap back to Williams. Running around and throws, has a man. His number 6, Amari Stewart. And that'll bring up 4th down, but at this point in the game, you're almost going to have to go for it. They will stop the clock at 6 minutes for the water break. And it'll be 4th and 7, so obviously 3 points isn't going to do anything right now. If you're Miami Norland, you're just looking for a moral victory.
Yeah, you got to try and get some kind of that nasty taste out of your mouth. If you can't start strong, you want to end strong. And going strong with the arm is Jaden Williams. He's been a bright spot for them here in the second half. That last throw was a tough one to make, moving forward, throwing it off the back foot with pressure coming in from behind him. He stayed calm, he stayed composed. He has done a great job on this drive of marching the Vikings down the field. This is as close to a quote-unquote drive as they've had all game.
Don't forget, you can interact with IMG Academy on all platforms of social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow along at IMG Academy. Use the hashtag EverythingIsEarned. Also, IMG fans, go to www.shopimg.com for all your official Ascender gear. That is your official IMG Academy online retailer. And they'll come out of the water break. Again, 6 minutes remaining time, maybe just for a couple more plays, maybe if they can get into the end zone, maybe one more play from IMG, but will almost certainly be in the victory formation, another empty backfield for the Vikings. Now Williams drops, looks across the middle, has a man draped on him, does number 12. Again, do not have him on our roster, but Zach Boot right there, and good enough for the first down.
Zach Boot on the tackle for IMG.
Draped all over him. Bruce Seaton there with some coverage as well.
That's a big-time 4th down conversion, and another strong throw by Williams.
Now one man in motion. It is the other quarterback, Sherwood, and again, not going to get away from Elias Ricks or JT Ellis.
Yeah, with as fast as this quarterback tandem has been, even better coverage. Again, just staying in the lane, Assignment football, you don't let the one man beat you, especially when you know that there is another defender right over your shoulder to help you out.
And again, JT Ellis listed at 6 foot 240 pounds out of Eastman, Georgia. The fact that he's able to outrun and keep up with a 6'1", 165-pound quarterback, just unbelievable. And it's going to be an official timeout with 4:25 remaining on the clock. It looks like there's an IMG player down on the turf. Might be Elias Ricks, I believe, being tended to by the trainer. And probably just with this Florida heat, a little bit of cramping, I would anticipate.
Yeah, especially given the timing of when he went down. It was right before the snap, and he kept trying to get up, and yeah, those cramps are no joke. You got to stay hydrated. I think we'd see a little bit more of that from Miami Norland, given the fact that they're playing their second game over the last 3 days, and yeah, he's up on his feet now, walking back to the sideline. Let's hope that's all that it was.
So when we get back, it will be 2nd and 15. And this offense has barely bent all day, let alone break. So trying to keep their perfection on the scoreboard. Checking in for Ricks will be Macca Jordan. Now Williams takes the snap. Pressure coming and takes a little bit of a hit into the end zone, but incomplete, a little too far.
At this point in the game, may as well start taking your shots. Now, Williams has shown off the wing already, but they've all been on short line drive tosses. May as well take your shot over the top, given the way that the game has gone to this point.
So 3rd and 15. As Jaden Williams taking his time. Again, still going with that empty backfield every play, almost essentially a Hail Mary formation. And this time looks like he's going to enlist some blocking help. Looking right across the middle. Almost intercepted, but what a hit. Bruce Seaton absolutely laying the wood. And I don't know how he held onto that ball.
Yeah, those are the toughest catches in football. Over the middle, a bit late. You know you're going to get blasted, and another ascender down in the backfield.
And that is the big man, Warren Brinson. And another clock stoppage at 3:26.
Just as a reminder, all parents and friends will be allowed on the field following the announcements.
Didn't see exactly what happened to Warren on that play.
Thank you.
It's not often that you see him go down. One of the stronger members on the ascender, looking like he might have gotten his bell rung. He's not really walking off gingerly, but more in a daze, so we hope Warren Brinson is okay.
Yeah, that Seaton hit, not the only big blast on that last one.
So when the clock resumes, it'll be at 3 minutes, 26 seconds. And I think what they're trying to do here is they're going to try to shut it down, so they're going to at least try and get those 3 points. And the clock will stop again as IMG will take a timeout. And on 4th and 6 to get those 3 points.
Yeah, I don't think that the Ascenders coaching staff was expecting Miami Norland to go out in field goal formation, rather. And I think that if you're the Vikings here, you're just trying to get some points on the board. It's not going to stop the running clock once it hits 35 points. It's a running clock for the rest of the contest. But I think, like you mentioned a couple minutes ago, Ryan, it's just a moral victory. Get some points on the clock, avoid the goose egg on the scoreboard.
So just a quick little special teams and defensive huddle. Also wouldn't be surprised to possibly see a fake here from this close. You'd hate to think that if you're the Miami Norland Vikings that you've came this far into the red zone, you're standing at the 12-yard line, and you're going to have to settle for 3 against one of the best teams in the country.
And I think this is a great bounce back for the Ascenders. You knew that they were going to be motivated, especially maybe not looking ahead to Hoover, but knowing that that is looming in the distance next weekend in Alabama. But I think that, you know, after the really drubbing that they took last week against St. Francis, one of the top teams in the country, the Ascenders wanted to come back home and assert themselves as what they think they are, and what they really are is one of the best teams in the country as well.
Terry Sherwood, the holder. The snap is high. The hold is down, and it is blocked. Sherwood falls on it, and it's still live. And the Ascender special teams unit helping back up their defense and keeping the goose egg.
There you go. That's when you don't try a field goal for the entire game, when you're trying to do one with less than 3 minutes to go and you're down by 35 points. Those things are apt to happen. The high snap, great job by the Ascenders of blowing that play up at the line and really taking care of business. And you can run about 2 to 3 plays here, get the ball on the ground, and I'll just about do it with another big-time win with a matchup against another one of the nation's best teams in Hoover next week.
And Alaric Gonzalez and Jack Codwell back in the backfield. Yeah, last time they were on the field, it was a fumble by Codwell. They'll hand it to him again and let him try to make something happen. They don't go to the victory formation just yet. Codwell will get a nice gain and hold on to it and bring up 2nd and 6.
I'm not one for moral victories, Ryan, really in any sport. I think you got to earn a lot of what comes to you, but not only for the Ascenders, but for Codwell here, you're going to get some opportunities to make up for the fumble on the last time out.
And Gonzalez with the hand again. Codwell looking for some room. He'll fall forward to about the 32. And that'll move the chains. Good for a first down. Minute 30 and counting. The hand. They go to Codwell again, looking for a hole. Busts through and levels about 2 Viking defenders and getting another 9 yards. So again, IMG showing that even their 3rd string running back, again, can make anything happen.
Now we're going to see Colt Inselman here, a local product in a quarterback.
And just about 1 or 2 plays left for the Ascenders. Inselman takes the snap. It's low. The hand to Codwell again. Working his way. Gets the first down. And again, it takes 4 Vikings to take him down. And another first down.
And it's going to take 2 more plays just to wind this one out with the way that the play clock has shaken out. Would expect to just see a couple of more runs to Codwell and get out of here with a big-time 35-point win in your final home game.
Should be the last play from scrimmage. And Inselman, the hand to Codwell. And he is stood up at the line of scrimmage, maybe just about a yard shy, and that should just about do it. As we're down to about 10 seconds, there will not be time for another play. The teams are already lining up and taking the field. And as the clock winds down, that will be your final in the final home game for the national team. 35-0 over Miami Norland as they line up to handshake. And what a great season, minus the loss last week at St. Francis up at Morgan State University in front of about 10,000 people in Baltimore, Maryland. Still a very good season for this team, and a lot of shining stars that we'll be seeing on future Saturdays as well.
Absolutely, and that's what this IMG national team is all about, is showcasing the exceptional talent that they cultivate from around the entirety of the country and really the world. This program has grown so much in the last 6-7 years from just a local team. They started getting guys from outside the state, getting guys from outside the country, and now they've got the best of the best and really showing it off, especially today. The coaching staff, all credit to them as well. It was 14-0 at the half. IMG was dominant, more so on the defensive side of the ball in the first half, and while that kept up throughout the entirety of the contest, the offense really turned it on. They made some awesome adjustments. It was all Ascenders from the start.
The IMG Academy national team will be back in action next week at Hoover, Alabama in Hoover High School, November 1st at 7 p.m. And there will also be a varsity game next week as well on the road. We appreciate you tuning in throughout the entire 2019 season. Please keep following IMG Academy on all platforms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates on when the basketball broadcast season might begin. But for everybody here at IMG Academy and my broadcast partner, Matt Neverett, my name is Ryan Sunol saying so long, and thanks for tuning in for the 2019 IMG Academy Ascender season.